Hello and welcome back to History Edulan. Today we are going to start with the new lesson from Political Science 10th Standard. Last time we studied Union Legislature and today we will be starting with Union Executive. Actually, Indian political administrative system is divided into three organs: the Union Legislature, the Union Executive and the Judiciary. Whatever the rules and laws that are made under Union Legislature are being implemented and executed under Union Executive. And last, Judiciary is all about the judgment. So let us begin today with Union Executive. The head of Executive is the President of India. That's why he is also a constitutional head of the country. The President is functioning and working with aid and advice of the Prime Minister, since Prime Minister is real head of the country. He is also called de facto head. In fact, the President of India is nominal head and he is also called de jure head of the country. President of India, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet Committees, these are the four components we are going to cover in this particular lesson. So without wasting much time, let us begin with the first component, the President. President of India, which is the highest post in Indian political administrative system. So let us find how the President of India is being elected. He is elected by indirect election. That means the elected representatives of the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and elected members of the state legislatures in India, assemblies and councils have the power to cast their votes to the President of India through a single transferable vote. The single transferable vote means one representative of the people have one vote. So that is called single transferable vote. And same time the secret ballot and the total secrecy is maintained through secret ballot. So this is what the election procedure. Now let's see his qualifications. The President of India, if he is contesting for the election, then he must be citizen of India, first criteria. Secondly, he or she must have completed 35 years of age. He should not be less than 35 years of age. Third, he should not hold any office of profit. And fourth, he should not be the member of either house of the Parliament or the state legislature. Tenure and removal of the President. After President being elected, he can remain in his office for the term of 5 years. If he wants, he can resign from his office in between the completion of the tenure. Same time, he can also be removed from his office on the violation of the Constitution. The process by which he is removed from the office is called impeachment. For that matter, 2/3 of the Parliament majority is required to remove him from his post. The history of the impeachment, if you find the history of the impeachment, so far there is not a single President of India being impeached. The President's office can remain vacant in three cases. In case of death of the President, second, his resignation or his removal. In such a situation, President need to submit his letter of resignation to the Vice President and Vice President act as a President for that particular term. The important post in India, he also vests a lot of powers in him. The powers like the executive, legislative powers, judicial powers, military powers, financial powers, diplomatic powers and emergency powers. So the first power is the executive power. In this, the first is he is executive head of the government. Second, he appoints the important posts like the Prime Minister and other Council of Ministers. Same time, he can make the appointments of the Attorney General of India, the Comptroller General of India, the Election Commissioner of India, and the chairperson and members of Finance Commission and UPSC. So this is executive power. Second is the legislative powers. Legislative power, the first one to summon and prorogue the session of the House. The bill is introduced in the House with his recommendation. Financial powers of the President. Money bill can be introduced in the Parliament only with the recommendation of the President. Second, he constitutes a Finance Commission after every 5 years. Next is the judicial powers. He appoints Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. He can seek legal advice from the Supreme Court. He can grant pardon, reprieve, respite, and remission of the punishment. Diplomatic powers. He represents India in international forms and affairs. He can send and receive diplomats like ambassador, high commissioners, etc. Next is the military power. The President is said to be the supreme commander of 3 defense forces in India. He appoints the chief of Army, Navy and Air Force. The war can be declared and also the peace agreement or the treaty can be signed by the President. So that is about the military powers of the President. The 7th power of President is emergency power. There are 3 emergencies: the national emergency, the state emergency and financial emergency. First, national emergency. It can be proclaimed only after receiving a written recommendation from the cabinet. Second, it must be approved by both the houses of the parliament within a period of 1 month. If approved, emergency shall continue for next 6 months. It can be extended for next 6 months with parliament's approval. Second is president's rule. That is nothing but in the state. If the constitutional machinery is failed in a state, the president rule can be imposed in a state. Then we have is a financial emergency. When financial stability or credit of India is threatened, that time this financial emergency can be imposed. It can be proclaimed with the approval by the parliament within 2 months. So these are the various powers and functions under emergency powers. The second most important component of Union Executive is the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is said to be the real head and the de facto head of the Indian government. He has some powers and functions in relation to that of the Council, President, Parliament and others. So first, let us see some of his powers in relation to the Council of Ministers. The President of India appoints the Council of Ministers on recommendation and advice of the Prime Minister. Secondly, he can shuffle and reshuffle the portfolios distributed to the ministers. He can also ask to resign any of the minister any time. In Indian Constitution, there is a special provision like if the Prime Minister resigns, then the whole Council of Ministers has to resign. His resignation means the collapse of whole Council of Ministers. Second power in relation to the President of India. He is the principal channel of communication between the President and Council of Ministers. Whatever decision taken in the Council of Ministers, he need to convey to the President of India, and anything that is decided with meeting with the President, that to be conveyed to the Council of Ministers. He advised President of India in regards to the appointments of the Attorney General of India, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the Chief Election Commission in relation to the Parliament. Prime Minister is leader of majority party. He announces government policies on the floor of the House. He recommends dissolution of the House. Other powers and functions of the Prime Minister. He is the chairman of Planning Commission. He plays significant role in shaping foreign policy of the country. Prime Minister is chief spokesperson of the Union government, crisis manager in chief, and leader of the political party in power. With this, we understand Prime Minister is the most important de facto leader of Indian government. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, the father of Indian Constitution, he rightly said, any functionary under our Constitution is to be compared with US President, then he is Prime Minister and not the President of India. Thus, let us see the third component of executive, the Council of Ministers. Indian politico-administrative system based on British pattern, wherein Prime Minister is most powerful than the President. Composition of Council of Ministers is in two types, the Cabinet Ministers and Minister for State. Cabinet holds important departments like Home, Defense, Finance, External Affairs, so on and so forth. The role of Cabinet is also important because Prime Minister being the important part and the leader of Cabinet Minister, and Cabinet Minister is a team that supports the Prime Minister of India. So here is the role of Cabinet. 1. Cabinet is the highest decision-making authority. Second, is a chief policy formulating body. It deals with legislative financial matters of the country and also deals with the foreign policies and affairs. Like Prime Minister and Council of Ministers plays very vital role in the government of India. Same time, there is an assistant body for Council of Ministers and the Prime Minister under which it functions smoothly. So that is the cabinet committees. It facilitates for smooth functioning of the government. There are two types of committees in the cabinet committees. One, standing committee, and second, ad hoc committee. Standing committee is headed by the cabinet minister. Sometimes even the Prime Minister heads the committee. And second is ad hoc committee. The name itself suggests it is a short time committee. So this is our cabinet committee. That's all about your lesson, Union Executive. We studied 4 components: the President, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, and the cabinet committees. Next lesson we will be studying is State Executive. It is a same duplication of this lesson in State Executive. Instead of President, we will be studying about the Governor, who is the representative of President in the state. Instead of Prime Minister, we will be studying about the Chief Minister in the state. Council of Ministers remains common and Standing Committee also remain common. So student, thank you very much. Do like this video and share it to the maximum, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much.